I'll be heading out to Anaheim for VidCon. I am super excited, especially because I've been invited to perform at the open mic and at the Awesomeness TV festival, and I'll be speaking on a crafting and DIY panel. My schedule is in the video description if you'd like to come and see me. I'll also be performing at LeakyCon in July, which I can't wait for. Since I've been to a lot of conferences over the years, my YouTuber friend and Patreon supporter Paul Roth asked me if I could create a sort of introvert's guide to attending conferences. So I asked my Twitter and Facebook followers if they needed any tips for attending conferences. Turns out, pretty much everyone had the same question. Sounds like you guys want to know how to talk to people at conferences. Believe it or not, I used to be really nervous about starting conversations and meeting new people, and sometimes I still am. But I'll try my best to help you guys out. So for me, my hesitation had to do with being worried that people wouldn't want to talk to me. This fear came from many years of noticing that most people were not super supportive of my particular breed of nerd. We'll leave it at that. Then I started going to Harry Potter conferences, where in most cases, the people around me are just as unapologetically nerdy as I am. But it's still difficult to go from feeling obligated to downplay your weirdness, to feeling like you can freely start conversations with the people around you, even though you already know that they'll probably be more open to getting to know you than the average person. So, number one, find some positive common ground. I know I've said this before, but people at fan conferences wear fan merch. They go to meetups for fans of the things they love. They do this because they want to meet other people who love that stuff too. So if you're into a certain book series or TV show, be on the lookout for other people who are wearing things from that fandom. You can start a conversation with something as simple as, "I love your shirt," or "I'm a Buffy fan too." If you're going to VidCon and you're a video blogger, you're definitely gonna see people who are talking to their cameras, and that gives you something in common with them. Also, if this is your first time at a con, many conferences hold meetups for new attendees, so you could go there and meet other first-timers. I say positive common ground because you should probably avoid starting conversations with people by making fun of somebody nearby or even complaining about how long the line is. That may not make the best first impression, and you might hit a sore spot without knowing it. Also, Hufflepuffs are people too. I know we're easy targets, but hurting people's feelings may not be the best way to make friends. Number two is ask for help. Asking someone where the vendor room is located or if they know the best places to get food nearby could not only get you the information you need, but you could also make a friend. And even if the person you're asking doesn't know the answer, maybe they'll want to tag along with you to find someone who does. Number three, try not to be too nervous. Remember that conferences have lots of people, and in this case, that can be a good thing. If you're nervous about being teased or not making a good first impression, you can find comfort in the fact that you may not even see most of these people again during the rest of the conference or ever. You don't have to be worried that you'll embarrass yourself like you do with classmates at school or colleagues at work that you have to see every day. There's less of a risk, so feel free to be yourself. If one person's not into the conversation you started, just try talking to somebody else. You'll have a better time if you find people who actually want to be your friend. So don't take it too personally if not everyone wants to stick around and chat with you. Number four, make it easy on yourself. You don't have to try and pick somebody who's all the way across the room and then spend an hour trying to come up with a conversation starter. Just casually mention something about your surroundings to the person sitting next to you at a panel or standing behind you in line. If they're feeling friendly, maybe they'll want to join you in talking about the speaker you're about to see. If not, no big deal. You didn't put a ton of effort in, so you don't lose anything by not getting anything out of it. There will be plenty of opportunities to make friends all weekend long. Number five is probably a pretty obvious one, but just in case, give people some space if it looks like they want it. Don't get too close to them you just met. Try to keep an eye out for social cues and just use common sense. Your new friend may not want you to tag along everywhere they go. And if you think that that might be the case, just ask them if it's all right, or maybe just wait to be invited along. Have respect for the people around you. Not everyone who is alone is going to want company. Also, please make sure that you follow the conference's code of conduct. It seems like you guys are especially interested in how to talk to people you admire, so that's going to be number 6. Especially at conferences like VidCon and LeakyCon, many actors, authors, musicians, and YouTube creators will be attendees at the conference just like you. So it's totally possible that you could run into someone you admire without any notice at all. When you're in line for a signing, you have plenty of time to figure out exactly what you're going to say. But what if you see me out and about, for example, and you want to come up with something to say, but you have to do it fast or else you're going to lose me? First of all, gauge the situation. If I'm running with my arms full of merch and I have like a guitar over here and I look stressed out, I'm probably on my way to a performance or to speak at a panel and I might not be able to stop and chat. If you see me crying in the corner somewhere, which, by the way, I'll be exhausted, it's totally possible. That may not be the best time for a picture, but I could probably use a hug. And I hate to say it because I've had some great conversations and met some wonderful people in conference bathrooms over the years, but maybe wait until I come back out. If you think maybe you shouldn't bother me the first time you see me for whatever reason, don't be sad. I'm personally around a lot during these conferences, and you'll probably be able to find me again in a much better context where I'll be able to give you my full attention. So, what to say? If you guys have been watching my videos for a little while now, you probably know what kinds of things I like and what we have in common, and I get really excited to talk about that stuff. My YouTube channel is just like a gold mine for conversation starters. It also makes me happy to hear your stories, what my work means to you, or that you've been through similar things. Sometimes adrenaline and nerves take over and you might act a little silly or start to cry without planning on it. When I met Anthony Rapp at LeakyCon last year, I definitely had a pretty hard time delivering the speech that I'd prepared about how he changed my life. Oops. Right after I left his signing line, I was overexhausted, so I started to cry. And a bunch of people came up to me to make sure I was okay, and I was like, I just met Anthony Rapp, and I couldn't get the right words out. And before I knew it, I had a group of crying people hugging me and telling me that they just did the same thing. I love moments like that because they remind me that I am totally not alone. And it's okay to be exactly who I am. It's why making friends at conferences is just the best. Being able to share all of that with people who really get it is an amazing feeling. But I think the thing to keep in mind is that most people have someone that they look up to and they understand how that feels. They might not, and I definitely won't judge you for it if that happens to you. And the next time will probably be a little bit easier. Personally, I want to make people happy and I feel pressure to respond well to everything, but the truth is that I'm not always good at that. So you and me, we can be awkward together. It'll be great. And lastly, number 7, don't feel bad about spending some time alone at a conference. Personally, I feel a bit drained when I don't get any time alone for a while, and sometimes I like to just sit by myself. You don't have to spend the whole time with other people if you don't want to. Sometimes it's just nice to sit and take in your surroundings, or check Twitter on your phone, or go for a walk, or maybe even take a break in your hotel room for a little while. If you have any more tips or advice about how to start conversations or make friends at conferences, leave them in the comments. And if you're going to VidCon, I'll see you there.